My name is Darcel Niles. It is 4/11/2024. I am going to be talking about 3D bioprinting and engineering. This works very similar to the way a 3D printer would work, where a 3D printer you would be using plastic materials. For example, my son has a 3D printer and he printed me this beautiful little dragon. See? And you can get very specific and very detailed. In a 3D printer, you're able to use lots of specs, as you can see. It's very movable. So I thought this would be a great example to show you what a 3D printer can do with plastic. Now, just imagine what a 3D printer could do with organic material to create tissues. Question 1. Why is it important to maintain the skin intact and functional? This is important because you want it to be transferable. Um, the skin that you print, you want it to keep its integrity so that it can be transferred to the portion of the body that you're trying to implant it to. Like I said, you can be very specific with 3D printing um, with your specs and the materials you want to use, and you can get it very precise. And you would want it to stay that way so you can precisely transfer it into the area that you need to transfer it into. Question 2. What are some ways in which skin may be compromised? So, a couple ways that the skin could be compromised is, for example, you could have skin cancer and have a large portion of your skin that need to be removed. Some people have even had skin cancer on their nose and needed a really large portion of their nose removed. Um, 3D printing engineering, you could print a portion of the nose to the exact specs of somebody's original nose and basically make a copy and put that onto somebody. Another way that the skin can be compromised is burns. And for example, somebody who has lots of burning over a large percentage of their body, um, very severe third-degree burns or fourth-degree burns all over their body, and they would need skin grafting. Now, somebody like that might not have the option of grafting another part of their body. There could be too much damaged skin, and they're not able to take from their body to put it somewhere else. So, 3D printing would be a perfect option for that, where you can just create new skin and put it on that person's skin. Um, this is really important because very severe burns can cause lifelong pain for people, especially if it reaches the nerve level. Question 3. What characteristics does a skin substitute have to have? Skin substitute has to be biocompatible. So, of course, it has to hold its integrity. It has to be made of organic material to mesh with organic material. It needs to be hydrophilic, meaning that it needs to retain and hold moisture. Moisture heals wounds. Moisture is going to be a big part of that new skin meshing with the old skin. So you want to make sure that is going to be hydrophilic and it's going to retain that moisture. You want it to be sterile and antibacterial. Of course, you don't want to be getting an infection, so you want to make sure that it's very sterile and it's very clean when you're transferring it into the human body. A couple other characteristics that you might want it to have is nerve regeneration and hair follicle regeneration. There are three major characteristics that were put into classes. And class 1 is temporary impervious dressing material. So You want it to be temporary in the sense that it is going to eventually mesh in with all your natural tissues. And so you want it to have that characteristic to where it can easily one day just become a part of you. Um, and you want it to obviously be strong, impervious. You want it to be long lasting. Um, class two, single layered durable substitutes. So, of course, um, you want to be able to create the layers of skin that you need to be able to create to mimic exactly what you need to implant into somebody, what you're replacing. Um, and then class three is composite skin substitutes that replace both dermal and epidermal layers. So, of course, you want the dermis and the epidermis are, pretty much the most important parts of the skin layer. So, you want to be able to recreate those layers and have them be durable and again, impervious. Um, I believe that this is such a great, really revolutionary type of science we're diving in here when it comes to using 3D printers. Again, looking at this wonderful little dragon my son made me, looking at how specific, the face, how very specific he was able to get, creating this toy, this wonderful piece of plastic. Imagine what you can do with the skin. I think the possibilities are endless. Um, Say somebody lost an ear and you could replace somebody's ear. Um, just the options that we have to improve people's life, um, their confidence, um, the integrity of themselves, and the functionality of their bodies. I just think that um, it is definitely the way of the future. I think that this technology is just wonderful. I think that we will continue to develop it more, get better at it, learn what works and what doesn't work. Um, and yeah, I think this is a great thing for our future.